New Age deception number 8. Chaos should be feared. We all think government has to be in place because of chaos. Chaos will emerge if we don't have it. They sell us this fear, the terror threat at any moment. We have to have levels and colors for how severe a terror threat is. This is all to get people to believe that if they give up their freedom, they'll be safe. You give up your freedom, you won't be safe and you'll be a slave. Because that dynamic is bullshit. The correction to the concept that we should fear chaos is to understand that chaos is a teacher. And in the ancient world, there were 2 divine teachers. They went by many other names, but these are the general archetypes. One was Isis, the mother goddess. And again, it's not an actual being, folks. It's an allegory. It's a symbol. Understand that. She represented truth. She represented the expansion of consciousness, the opening of the heart, compassion, true care, love. That's what the goddess represented. She nurtures the child. See, this is Mary and Jesus too. This is Semiramis and Tammuz in the Babylonian tradition. In the Egyptian tradition, it's Isis and Horus. The golden child. She's the green mother. You can actually see the hue a little bit. She's the green mother. Care, the heart. And he's the golden child. Right action in the world. The second teacher is Eris. And she looks frightening and crazy and everything and scary. And maybe she is. Maybe Eris is very scary, because Eris was the goddess of chaos. This is the teacher that swoops in like a hurricane when you refuse to accept truth and natural law and morality and the difference between right and wrong, and to exercise conscience. Eris comes in and kicks her ass at that point because it deserves a kicking. See, we're the species that wants to keep doing this. Think we can keep doing that without consequence. Well, keep putting your hand on the stove and enjoy what you're getting. Flesh is coming off the bone soon. But we're choosing that for some reason. We need to... See, that's what Eris does. Eris shows you what is. You want to put your hand on the stove? It's getting burned. You're choosing chaos willingly by refusing to acknowledge natural law. But it's not a bad thing, because chaos is a teacher. A child who touches a hot stove usually doesn't do it twice, because they learn something by the pain. The control and slavery system is about the limitation of free will through the destruction of possibility. This is what fear of chaos is all about. See, if we fear chaos, we can never really be free. True freedom must, by definition, include the possibility of chaos, because true freedom is infinite possibility. That's what it is. It includes the possibility of chaos manifesting. We can't fear that possibility. We have to embrace it. That is something that should be accepted. Chaos might happen. Like Swami said, accept it, deal with it, get the t-shirt, have a beer, and split. Okay? Chaos is possible. We shouldn't fear it. When we give into that fear, we're apt to being controlled from without. This whole thing, I can't believe that we can live without government because it'll never work out. How many times have people heard that? That's the fear of chaos, which means it's the fear of true freedom. These people are afraid to really be free. They're afraid to go outside the cage and not live as a slave, because that means total personal responsibility. Ultimately, that mindset of, I can't imagine how that could work, it's the death of the imagination. It's the death of the imagination. Through fear of the possibility of chaos, which is true freedom, most people advocate the legitimacy and continuance of authority and government, and are therefore actually advocating the legitimacy and continuance of violence and slavery. This is the religion known as statism. It is the most dangerous religion in the world. Those who believe that authority is necessary and that it must continue have actually been duped into believing that human slavery is necessary and must continue in order to prevent chaos. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of logical sense, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, violence and slavery, which is what the advocation of any form of government is, cannot prevent chaos, ever. You want to know why? Because violence and slavery are chaos.
Yeah.
There's only one true divide in humanity. There is something that divides us and separates us. It's the belief in authority. Or, if that's not present, that's the only thing that's truly different in humanity. That's it. Sex, age, religion, ethnicity, etc. These are all dividers. They're illusions. This is a real divider. It's true. This is the true divide. Whether you're a statist. Statism is the brilliant idea that we give a small group of people the right to kidnap, imprison, harass, steal from, and kill people so that we can be protected from people who kidnap, harass, steal, and kill people. Brilliant. And I told you Jesus would be making a couple other appearances. He's saying here in this meme, I'm an anarchist, but most of my followers are statists. An anarchist is the other side to this coin. Anarchy comes from the Greek prefix an, which means without or the absence of, and the Greek noun archon, which means master or ruler. Anarchy, the word anarchy, does not mean without rules. There's always going to be rules because there's always going to be natural law. Anarchy literally means without rulers, without masters. Now you give that phrase to someone and they'll tell you that represents true freedom. But you give that word to somebody and they'll tell you it means chaos. The obfuscation of the definition of words. Without true definition, we have no true clarity. That's what definition means. You get a high definition TV set, you have better clarity. I like to call anarchy archony, and I'll explain why. This is my new coining of a word. I want to put this word in the dictionary. Archony. Alright? We'll understand what it means in a moment. So, the one true divide is the difference between since archon means ruler, anarchy means the state of no rulers. That's what it means, literally. No rulers, no masters. So when we see this true divide, what it boils down to is statists are actually supporters of the archons, the masters. They believe in a master-slave relationship. They believe that violent dynamic should continue. And our anarchists, what we call anarchists, are actually anarchonists. They are against the archons. They are against external masters. They reject the notion that anyone gets to master us outside of ourselves. So the term archonist and anarchonist, I like that much better than statist versus anarchist. Because then you'll get to explain what the word means to people. You could break it down and explain what they're really supporting, which is slavery. Bridging the divide, I call this. To all archonists or statists of the world, I have this to say. I, for one, will willingly choose true freedom, even if it meant that roads may no longer exist. All the statists say, well, how would we deal with roads? I don't care. I'd rather be free and not have roads, if it came to that. Even if roads no longer exist in a post-slavery world, even if it meant that murderers and cannibals might lurk around every corner, even if it meant that I might drown in human waste because there would be no sanitation, even if it meant that my home might collapse because of unsafe building standards, or that it might spontaneously burst into flame at any moment and no one would come to put out the fire. Even with all those things, I would rather live my life in total danger and be truly free than to exist in a so-called state of safety and be a slave. An understanding and acceptance of true freedom means letting go of fear and the possibility of chaos, of the fear of the possibility of chaos. As long as people stubbornly cling to this fear, they are ultimately enslaving themselves because slavery is generated and perpetuated through fear. Only when we stop being afraid can we ever begin to imagine what it means to truly be free.